Welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. Today I am going to discuss editorial analysis of Hindu newspaper, that is building peace and prosperity with strong BRICS. So first of all, we have to try to understand context of the article. Okay. On 19th May, President Xi Jinping delivered a video addressed at opening session of BRICS Foreign Minister meeting. So because of that purpose, this topic become important. Now, here we have to understand what is BRICS. Okay, in GS paper 2, we have a topic regional grouping. Here, when we talked about regional grouping, generally one particular region or one particular region's countries are coming together and they are making a bloc. But when we talked about BRICS, BRICS is not all about a regional grouping. I can say that here countries came together because of common interest. Like we have India, we have China and Russia, then South Africa and the Brazil. We can say that all these 5 countries, they came together and then they have made a common group for common interest. Common interest, we can say that one side we have these countries and other side we have entire developed world. Entire developed world, we can say that when we talked about international organization or economic international organization, they are generally dominated by European country and USA. And in these international organizations like World Bank or WTO or maybe IMF, generally developing country does not have much representation. Because of that reason, these countries came together initially. I can say that like Russia, China, India and Brazil, they came together. Later on, South Africa also joined. In this forum, these 5 countries leaders are sitting together and they are trying to address the issues at international level. So here, in Chinese, one saying is, nothing can separate people with common goals and ideals, not even mountain and the sea. If we talked about like India, here we have China and India was divided by the mountain, and we can say that like here we have Africa continent, then South America continent and Asia. The countries of these continent came together because of common goal and common ideals. Now, when we talked about timeline of BRICS, how it was formed, so we can say that first BRICS summit took place in 2009 in Russian Federation and focused on the issues such as reform of global financial architecture. When we talked about global financial architecture, generally it is dominated by World Bank and I can say that IMF. Okay, these are the international institutions which dominate global financial architecture, and these 2 institutions again controlled by USA and European country or European nations. So we can say that these 5 countries does not have much representation, World Bank and IMF. They are not democratic. So we can say that the objective to create a group of 5 countries to address the issues in World Bank and IMF. Later on, we can say that in 2010, South Africa also joined the group. And we can say that in third summit which happened in China, formally South Africa joined the group. So now we can say that these 5 countries try to address the issues at international level, and now they are not confined only financial issues. They have tried to cover other issues also. So here when we talked about salient features or basic aspect of the BRICS, we can say that BRICS account around 42% of world population. Okay, here we have to understand the importance of these 4 countries. Like 42% of world populations are living these 5 countries like Russia, China, India, South Africa and Brazil. and these 42% of the people does not have much representation at international organizations. So here we can say that okay, because of that reason these four countries came together. When we talked about the GDP, these countries contribute 24% global GDP. Okay, now 16% of global trade and 30% of land area. So we can say that these countries have like huge population, they contribute in GDP, they contribute in global trade and the land area. So, and when we talked about this representation at international level, they are not represented very well. Now come to some points which were discussed in this summit. One was upholding universal security. Like as I told, in 2009 the BRICS was originated, or BRICS summit was happened to address the financial crisis. But now this group is not only confined with regard to financial issues. This group is also including security, and they are trying to ensure or uphold universal security. Okay, so when we talked about earlier, like we know that from 1945 till 1990 we have Cold War. Cold War in the sense like entire world was divided into two block led by USA and other group led by USSR. Okay, these two groups have ideological war, like one is protecting democracy, other is protecting socialism, and entire world also along with USA and the USSR are divided into two blocks. So we can say that this BRICS try to avoid Cold War mentality, one thing, and second thing is avoid block confrontation, because whenever two important country or two large countries are fighting with each other, then it have negative consequences on globalization, it have negative consequences of movement of goods and services, and finally it impact on the economic development of entire world. So one thing is, when we talked about upholding universal security, it simple means that this group try to avoid to make a block, or we can say that whenever these blocks are fighting with each other, it have negative consequences on economic aspect of the at a world level. Now China have started global security initiative. China want, okay, this global security initiative has to be part of BRICS. It means it help to address the peace deficit and solve global security dilemma. Now we have seen a war between Russia and Ukraine also. Okay, so we have seen continuously peace deficit is continuously growing. Okay, one side NATO, other side Russia, so many issues have emerged. So global security initiative started by China and it become part of the BRICS is to address this peace deficit. Whenever peace deficit will be there, then country will start to fight with each other. That is not a good for at a global level. Okay, second thing is, this BRICS country try to develop political mutual trust and security cooperation. These five countries, as I discussed, they contribute 42% population, 20% GDP, 16% trade. If all the countries come together, these five countries come together and they have political mutual trust, then they can ensure security cooperation at international level also. Again, Global Development Initiative also started, gives priority to development and embraces the people-centric core concept, calls for more robust, greener and more global development. Okay, so here whenever we talked about Global Development Initiative, again started by, okay, one is Global Security Initiative, second is Global Development Initiative was started by the BRICS. It means, okay, these five countries are going to focus more on development, people-centric core concept. And BRICS countries should try to enhance mutual beneficial cooperation in supply chain, energy, food, finance. So here we can say that in 2009, this first summit was happened. That summit was only focusing financial establishment at international level. Now we can say that this group is covering all the aspects at international level, like security, climate change, food, supply chain, all the aspects have covered under this BRICS. Now, what is importance of BRICS for India? We can say that why it is important. We can say that for geopolitical purpose, this BRICS is very important. Okay, why? We can say that entire world is divided between USA is one side, other side we have Russia and China. Okay, both these two groups are important for India. So when we talked about India is continuously engaging with the USA, and same time BRICS provide a platform to India where India can engage with Russia and China. So we can say that for geopolitical purpose, this BRICS is very important. For BRICS only India is able to cooperate with Russia and China and able to address its grievances. So we can say that for geopolitical purpose, this BRICS is very important. Global economic order. As I discussed, the main objective to create a BRICS is to make international financial institution as more democratic. Okay, so now we can say that a new development bank was started by the BRICS. Somehow they are making a balance, or they are creating different type of financial institution other than World Bank and IMF. Terrorisms, India have suffered a lot with the terrorisms with the help of Russia and China and South Africa and Brazil. India is able to counter the terrorisms also. And global grouping. Global grouping in the sense like entire world, as I told earlier, okay, dominated by the developed world country. Now we have a strong group like BRICS which can bargain with the developed country. So we can say that here India have this group is very important for geopolitical, global economic order, terrorism, economic or other aspect. This group is very important. So here we have tried to understand what is BRICS, how BRICS was originated, relevance of the BRICS, and why BRICS is important for India. Hope you are able to understand this topic very well. Thank you for watching this video.